things tomorrow. Thank you very much, Joy. You're going to hear some things tomorrow about some plans that God has laid in our lap, some ideas that God has laid in our lap. You know, if you look at the strategic plan that the executive committee has voted and we've worked through with the visioning, if you go back there and get one of those, you'll see the last one is be open to whatever God wants to do. And you're going to hear some things that are in the works that just blow my mind as far as what God wants to do here in Alaska. Come on, this is an Adventist camp meeting and nobody noticed? From other divisions come to Alaska. I'd have expected more than 2 amens, but whatever. Bethel is one of the places that we want to place somebody. Bethel is there with 57 villages around, a shining light. Nome is another place that we intend to try to place somebody to work in Nome, up in Kotzebue. There could be other places, but right now we're just going with 2. But you're going to hear more about it tomorrow about what God can do. I'm excited to see what God's going to do. Now, not all of us can take off and go to Bethel or Nome. But you know, as we see the blessings that God has given to us, think about what you can do sacrificially to help spread the work, to help spread the good news of Jesus. Like I said, we'll take up an offering tomorrow, but just be thinking. And then after you've figured out what you can give, write a check and add an extra 0. Special music today is from the Northside Church. Come on up.
So I heard a story about a man who went by a little league baseball park. And he wandered out to right field, and there was a little boy out there, and the man asked the boy, "What's the score of the game?" And the little boy said to the man, "Well, we're losing 18-0. And the man said, "Well, you don't seem particularly discouraged. You even seem quite optimistic, even though you're down 18-0. How could that be?" And the little boy said to the man, "Well, sir, we haven't even been up to bat yet." And I love that story because I love the spirit of that little boy. He's awake to the score. And brothers and sisters, we're awake to the difficulties in this world. Adventists have been committed to paying attention to the challenges that we face in a sinful world, even acknowledging that those challenges might even be greater as time goes on. We show up tonight understanding that we each bring our own difficulties to the table, our own private challenges. The score often feels overwhelming. But by the Spirit's power, we haven't even been up to bat yet. The Spirit of God gives us hope and optimism and courage because of God's action in this world, that no matter the challenge, we have an attitude that hopes for a better day. And so we can cling to that with great confidence tonight. You know, for those of you that have been here all week, you know I've been celebrating the rain. Some of you have not been celebrating the rain, but I have because once I'm done here, I have to go back to Walla Walla where it's 103 degrees and sunny and smoky. So I have actually loved the rain, but I also enjoyed waking up today and seeing the glory of the sunshine. And I have to show you something here. Alaska Joe persuaded me to go do something fun today. And so he took me in his plane. Can you see that? And we went up in the mountains around here and saw absolute beauty. Do you all know where you live? I want to make sure you're not missing it. Do you understand? Look at this picture I took with my little iPhone. It's almost as if the light from God, from the sun, just is bursting on. Are you aware where you live? I just want to be clear, because you can get sloppy in your thinking and you can forget about the gifts that God puts around you. And Alaska may well be the biggest state, but it also might be the best state. Yes, Rodney, indeed. Absolutely, absolutely beautiful. And I have to show you another picture. This is us flying back. And you, what are you looking at? Right where we're sitting, right there, huh? So I had to grab a picture of that as well, what God is doing here. So last week, I was in Montana for camp meeting. And I went for a walk just almost 7 days ago. Sabbath morning, I went for a walk before I was going to preach. And I looked up into the sky, and I'm like, that's unusual. What is that hot air balloon shaped like? It's a brain. And so I pulled out my phone, and I had to take a picture of it because I thought the metaphor was incredibly powerful. And I thought in 1 Corinthians chapter 2, where Paul tells us that we can have the mind of Christ. Do you know that passage? That we can have the mind of Christ. And I looked at that air balloon that's lifting human beings into the sky with that beautiful brain right there. And I thought of that promise in the Scriptures that when we are connected to Christ, the mind of Christ can lift us to places that we know are possible. Are you with me tonight? That when we're connected to Jesus and the mind of Jesus, we can think greater thoughts, We can imagine bigger dreams. Even when the score is against us and the world seems bleak, we can be lifted to a completely different place, Christians. This is the true spirit of what it means to be an Adventist Christian, by the way. That we might understand that when we are affixed to God, the capacity of our minds to see the world with new eyes, to hear the world with different ears, to have a spirit of hope and optimism against all odds, this is how we are called to live. So tonight I want to do something just a little bit different.